It is no surprise that Raleigh's population is booming, but today we're going to be talking about 4 areas around Raleigh that it seems like everyone is making a move to, so stick around.
Up first, and this one's actually kind of shocked me. So Garner is growing at a 10.5% clip year over year. Now this was from census data looking at 2023 to 2024, and it was actually the 10th fastest growing town in the country that has a population of 20,000 or more, which literally blew my mind. I would have never expected that.
Yeah.
But Garner is growing rapidly according to the census data. And I think really the 2 main reasons for that, I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but I think the 2 main, one is proximity to Raleigh. Garner's one of those small towns outside of Raleigh that has great access, especially to downtown Raleigh. And then affordability, if you're looking at the average home price in Garner, it's going to be in the low to mid 4s. And so it's a very affordable area that gives you great proximity to Raleigh.
Yep, for sure. And just the population there, I know we said, has grown a lot. Since the pandemic, it's grown about 25%, which is crazy. And I think, it's really cool to see Garner stepping into that growth, because they have 2 new parks that they announced last year, and they have broken ground on Jurgen Park, which is going to be so cool. This is going to be like the park in Garner. It's going to have like playground and athletic fields, of course, but it's also supposed to have like a splash pad and a zip line course and all of these really neat features to it that's going to make it the go-to spot, I think. And then there's going to be a second park that they're breaking ground on as well. So we are just really excited to see what's in store for Garner.
Yeah, for sure.
The next area we're going to hit on has grown over 70% since the pandemic, which is wild. And when you come into this area, every time I drive in, I see something new, which is really kind of fun and exciting. And that area is Wendell. So Wendell also gives you really great proximity into Raleigh. It's not a super long drive to get in, and the population here is more than doubled over the last 5 years. You have some huge developments in this area that have majorly contributed to that, mainly being Wendell Falls. That's where we're filming right now. There is amazing amenities in this neighborhood, and this is not the only neighborhood in Wendell now. There's a lot of new construction that has followed behind the path of Wendell Falls, and people, even if you don't live here, you can really benefit from the commercial side that has come in with Wendell Falls. I just passed now, I know they opened a new Chipotle, there's Culver's now, they have just so much coming here. I think I heard a rumor that a Chick-fil-A was coming to Wendell Falls, which is really exciting. So it's really, I feel like Wendell is really on the map now, and it's really, there's a lot of good reasons for it. I mean, you're super close to Raleigh. If you want to be in a neighborhood that feels like your kids are gonna be able to run outside and see a lot of other kids. There's gonna be a lot to do within the neighborhood, super close proximity to get to shopping without even having to really go into Raleigh. Wendell is gonna be a great spot for you.
Yeah, for sure. And some of that, like Cindy mentioned, some of the growth is tied to proximity, especially to North Raleigh. So whereas Garner is very close to downtown Raleigh, Wendell is gonna have great access to North Raleigh. But really the second reason is affordability. So Wendell, just like Garner, that low 4 to mid 4 range is what you can find in this area in general, which is for our region, one of the more affordable locations. For sure. Yeah. The next area we're going to talk about is Clayton. Clayton has exploded over the last several years. In fact, it's grown 20% from 2020 to 2024, which is pretty wild. Clayton's going to be really, out of all the areas we talk about today, probably the furthest removed from the rest of the region, but that does come with the pro of being very affordable.
Yes, it's gonna be our most affordable spot on the list today, with homes averaging below 400, like upper 3s to low to mid 4s. You can easily find a spot to call home in Clayton, which I think has really been a driver of its huge growth over the last few years, especially during the pandemic when it was really hard to find a house. There was just a lot of inventory out that way because the new construction out there was crazy. Every place you saw was another neighborhood coming. So there's just a ton of options there. And it is also growing on its commercial side too. I feel like a complaint a lot of people have had that live in Clayton or moved out to Clayton was there's a lot of housing here, but there's not a lot of restaurants. There's not a lot of places to like go and get a job without having to go into Raleigh. And I feel like that is shifting a lot. There are some pretty major companies that are breaking ground on some spots in Clayton. We're seeing a lot more commercial development out that way. And if you are the CEO of Target and you want to help them out, I know the people of Clayton would really love a Target. So
but Johnston County is getting one. It's just not going into Clayton.
Which doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, but, you know, it is what it is. So Target, you gotta come. You gotta come to Clayton. They really want you. But in general, I really also love the park scene in Clayton. I feel like they've put in a lot of new playgrounds over the last couple of years that are really great for people with young kids and families. So I think this is a really good spot if you want to have that proximity to Raleigh, or maybe if you need to get to Raleigh, but you don't have to go every day. It still puts you really close and gives you a lot of access to an area that is really growing in a lot of probably gonna have a lot of equity over the next few years.
Yeah, for sure.
So the next area we're going to talk about is Holly Springs. Holly Springs is a little different than the other three. I think feels a little more unique than the other three in the fact that it is not like a small town that has started booming. Like it's already kind of a larger town. Population there about 40,000, and it has had a lot of growth, grown by about 18% over the last 5 years. So still seeing a lot of people moving into Holly Springs, but you know, it's definitely in a different area of town than a lot of these are too. You're kind of moving over to like the western side of Wake County. You're kind of more piggybacking, I feel like, off of the growth of like Cary and Apex when you're in the Holly Springs area. And it's gonna be a lot more expensive than some of the others that we mentioned today, but it is still an area that a lot of people are wanting to be in. I think mainly a lot of the neighborhoods there just feel like amenities are super heavy. It feels like a resort life. Go outside, see a lot of other people playing with kids outside, tons of like new commercial development out that way. You know, a lot of athletic fields, a lot of parks that are being expanded on. So just a really nice place to raise a family.
Yeah, and as far as like why the area is growing, I think really a couple things. One is accessibility to places like the Research Triangle Park. So a lot of these areas we've talked about today are on the eastern side of Raleigh, or on the southern side of Raleigh. With it being on the west side of Raleigh, you have much easier access to the Research Triangle Park or to places like Cary or Apex because you're directly south of those. And then I think in general, just the neighborhoods in Holly Springs, the amenities in Holly Springs, like on the commercial side, really outside of Garner, it's going to be the most developed area from a commercial standpoint. So Holly Springs really benefits from that. But on that western side, you definitely do pay a higher premium for homes. So you're looking more into like the mid to upper sixes in Holly Springs for a home.
Yeah, for sure. And like Zach mentioned, there definitely does feel like it's a lot more built up there as far as like shopping centers and things like that go. It doesn't feel like you really have a need to go into Raleigh. If you needed to leave Holly Springs, you could probably just hop over to Apex or Cary and find what you need without really even needing to come into the Raleigh area. And they do have a Target, and it's one of my favorites in the Triangle. I don't know what it is about that Target, but it's a really good one. So shout out again to that Target CEO that watches my videos on YouTube. It's different. Different, just trust me on that. But it is a really great spot. Lots to do there, lots still coming to that area, and just a really happy place to live.
We are Zach and Cindy Honeycutt, a couple of real estate agents in the area. So if any of these areas sound interesting to you or sound like they may be a good fit for you, feel free to reach out to us. You can find our contact info below, and you can also find us on Instagram.
Yep, we'd love to have you follow along over on Instagram. You can find us at The Honeycutt Realtors on Instagram. And if you're interested in restaurants, playgrounds, things going on in the area, you can also follow us at The RDU Buzz, and we look forward to connecting with you there.
Yep, we'll see you next time.